justice and peace and equality.
All right, Game Changers Magazine, Game Changers Media Network, Voices of the Village podcast, where change starts with conversation, and we're back. Mayor Rickard, Mayor Ellis, Commissioner Stanley Stewart here. I-75 Corridor Coalition, Vision for Smart Growth for the Future.
Yes, sir.
Right. Now, during the break, we were talking about some key factors in investing in this railway system. And a lot of people, some people, I don't want to say a lot of people because I don't want to generalize, but some people look at cargo. Will this be mixed up with cargo, or will this just be a passenger where people could just get on, almost like the Amtrak? And I'm going to use Amtrak as an example. How does that look? Will this be like, okay, one part of the day we're moving passengers, part of the day we're moving cargo, and how does that look in this infrastructure?
If you were talking about improved conventional rail that's designed to run on existing track,
okay,
which right now is owned by Class 1 railroads.
Okay.
Right, like Norfolk Southern, CSX, Union Pacific, etc.
Okay.
Right, so this is designed to run with improvements so that you don't have quite as sharp a curve, quite as steep an incline or decline, and smoother, so that you don't shake, rattle, and roll while you're riding. Right, so it can be a lot different. High speed, on the other hand, is dedicated to high speed, and probably would have very little, if any, freight associated with the use of that track.
Okay.
But conventional inner-city rail, improved conventional rail, would, because it complements the use of freight movement by improving the infrastructure for passengers. Because if you're going to start running passenger rail at 89, 90, 100, 110 miles an hour, whoa. Then that automatically improves the safety and stability of running freight at a faster speed, not 80, 90, 100 miles an hour, but 40 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour, but safer than trundling along at 20, 25 miles an hour and derailing and dumping contents into your community that you don't want dumped into your community.
Correct.
And also I think, for your listeners to make sure they're clear and concise on it, we're not saying that your passengers are going to be riding with freight. He's simply saying that the rail will be consistent for carrying passenger rail and freight at the same time.
That's great. Yeah, so you'd have a passenger rail train.
Right. Correct.
And you'd have a freight train.
Right.
Correct.
And they could run intermittently. Right. You could run a freight train northbound in the morning.
Yes.
And a passenger train southbound in the afternoon.
Two different trains.
Yeah.
Now we also spoke about, in building infrastructure, and we know Georgia from Savannah to Atlanta has a humongous traffic when it comes to 18-wheelers. And we were talking about during the break of the improvements that Georgia would have to put almost $2 billion behind, adjusting roads, bridges, and I mean basically rebuilding bridges from Macon all the way to Atlanta almost, to accommodate expanding more lanes, expanding more roadway. Why is it smart to go ahead and invest in this system than taking the time out to improve, like raise bridges and create? I mean, we're talking a lot of money, and it takes time to build this thing.
Well, I'm afraid that horse has left the barn already, if you will. That horse left the barn when we dredged Savannah Harbor and made these super mega cargo floating, what do you call them, container ships to come in. Because once that cargo comes in, it's got to get to the market. And of course, Atlanta is the market.
Yes.
So that means it's got to, right now, the way it gets to the market for the most part is on a truck.
Yes.
And in order to get that truck from Savannah to Atlanta, it's got to come on I-16 and I-75, the most direct route.
Okay.
So I think they were forced, based on what you said earlier, we didn't do a lot of prior planning a long time ago, we didn't see this type of growth. No one saw this type of growth. No one was talking about the Savannah port being able to handle these mega ships 20 years ago.
Correct.
But now
correct.
they're there, we imported so much stuff from overseas that has got to get to the market. That's why you see all the warehouses being built along the interstates. Well, in order to get the stuff to the warehouses, you got to put them in a truck. In order for the trucks to get there, they got to go under a bridge. And in order to get on the bridge, you got to raise the bridge. So,
Yes, yes.
you know, so it goes on.
And as mentioned, Georgia tried to improve infrastructure like we talked about during the break. We were at 2-lane roads. You know, I know when I was growing up coming to Atlanta, it was 2-lane roads, you know. And we expanded to 4. We tried to expand, and it just simply doesn't work. It simply doesn't work. Enlighten us more, man, Rickard, on why that plan didn't work and why this plan sets the tones for the future of Georgia being that international hub.
Well, let's first of all, let's give credit where credit is due.
Okay.
Okay. Both Norfolk Southern and CSX have invested a significant amount of money in the port of Savannah.
Okay.
So that they can put cargo containers on railroad cars and ship cargo containers by rail rather than the interstate highway.
Okay.
What they need is expanded capacity on their railroad to move the freight train full of cargo containers, right? So by improving some of these secondary routes
Okay.
that are in disrepair, specifically the old Georgia Central route between Macon and Savannah that runs through Dublin and Vidalia and Claxton.
Right.
All of a sudden, now Norfolk Southern's got a second route by which they could run these container trains between Savannah and Macon.
Okay.
Similarly, there are 2 lines between Macon and Atlanta, 2 railroad lines, both owned by Norfolk Southern.
Okay.
But one west of the interstate is called the S line and is in bad repair. If you improve that, then they could use it for additional capacity to move cargo containers. And for every cargo container you put on the railroad car, you take it off the highway. Right? So that's why this intercity passenger rail benefits freight movements as well as passenger rail.
Okay. Now we're coming up on the environmental planning stage, some of the alternative analysis and drawing this picture and moving the vision forward. What does that look like? What is the environmental plan, Mr. Emeritus? What is the environmental plan for this initiative moving forward? Because we're coming up on, I believe we completed like 2 to 3 stages of this. And it says that we're coming up on the environmental transportation plan, financial planning stages of this thing.
Well, whenever you're doing a major project like this, you have to look at the environmental impact study. How is it going to impact the environment as it moves along? Depends on what that environment is.
Right.
Is it water runoff? Is it hosts of other things that you have to deal with. You're dealing with an environmental impact. So how is it going to impact the various communities that it moves through? Sure. Is it going to be more air pollution? Will it reduce air pollution? Will it create more idle time for trucks and so forth? But I'll let you speak to exactly what they are studying in this particular environmental impact study. I'm speaking in general.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, but the environmental impact is several different phases or several different categories. Like Mayor Ellis mentioned, first thing is what sort of physical impact is it going to have on your built environment? Is it going to be a green field through a pasture land that you put this? Well, that's pretty severe environmental impact, adverse economic impact. Or is it going to use existing rail?
Okay.
If existing rail is already there,
yes,
then there's a lot less impact physically on the environment. Secondly, Mayor Ellis mentioned in the environment and pollution.
Okay.
Is it going to contribute to pollution? Yeah, you say you're going to have additional trains, but you're reducing the car traffic.
Yes.
So how does that balance out? Less car traffic, less diesel trucks, than the train, especially if it's electrified.
Yes.
If it's electrified, now it's not even polluting at all. Except at the plant where they generate the electricity, and it was already being generated, right? So,
yes.
right. So then you look at those sorts of environmental impact from a pollution standpoint. So all of that kind of factors into whether you have greenfield development or you use existing rail, and how you power it. Do you power it with diesel? Do you power it with electricity? How do you run this thing? And high-speed rail typically runs on electricity.
Okay.
And let me say this, Mr. Miller. One of the things that got me on board when Mayor Rickard brought the overall proposal was the fact that Senator Ossoff has dedicated $8 million for the environmental impact study.
Okay.
Because a person who studies history like myself, in the 1950s, even though we applaud the interstate system with President Eisenhower, it was definitely needed. It had a huge impact on, for example, Pleasant Hill in Macon, Georgia, which is an African American community, and went straight through it and really just decimated it.
Okay.
That's a community from which my cousin Little Richard is from.
Okay.
So when you look at an environmental study, I appreciate that part of it, that aspect of it, because we want to make sure that it doesn't, displace people, and make sure that everybody is okay with this project as it's coming through.
Awesome. Now, to take it from a political stance, and put a little bit more fun to it, we know in Georgia we like to party. We We got the St. Patrick's Day in Savannah. We got the Sweet Potato Fest, Cherry Blossom Fest in Macon, the Sweet Potato Fest in Ocilla, and we had the Georgia-Florida game down in Jacksonville.
Oh yeah.
We got the Braves. We got the Hawks. We got all of that, and everybody likes to have a beer when they go out and they ride, right? What's the fun side of the transportation and improving safety when we know Georgia has been a hub for a large amount of accidents? So what's the protocol for the safety behind this and what it provides for citizens having fun?
You've always got a designated driver when you're on passenger rail. So you can get on and party and leave the driving to them, right?
Correct.
That's exactly right.
All right.
And you just saw that happen this weekend in Atlanta.
Yes.
We had all these activities going on, and they were telling people, get out of your car and get on MARTA.
Yes.
Well, of course, passenger rail would be saying the same thing.
That's right. Yeah.
You want to go into Atlanta, don't drive your car, get on the train. As he said, you have a designated driver. So it just makes sense. I mean, it just makes so much sense to implement passenger rail in this state, connecting cities, connecting states, and connecting the entire nation. Just makes so much sense. And the way we have grown here in Atlanta, the cars and so forth, it's time to stop it. And it's time to go to an alternative mode of transportation, and that is passenger rail.
It is.
Yeah, well, the party can start sooner. If you're gonna go to Nashville for the weekend,
Okay.
and go up and see the Grand Ole Opry,
Yes, sir.
or if that ain't your boat, if that doesn't float your boat, if you want to go to Savannah
Yes.
and get you some seafood and see what's going on down there,
Come on now.
you can start the party when you get on the train.
Yes, sir.
Because you don't have to worry about having a designated driver driving there.
Yes, sir.
You can start the party when you get on.
Yes, sir.
And vice versa. When you coming home, you can sober up as you come home.
Yeah.
So it has a lot of, but that blends right into tourism. That blends into convenience for how I get to events that I want to go to.
Yes.
Whether I want to see the Daytona 500, or whether I want to go to Nashville, Tennessee, and hit a Grand Ole Opry, or whether I want to go to Birmingham or New Orleans and try to see what's going on down there at the Jazz Festival.
Yes.
When it's too far to drive, but too close to fly.
Yeah.
Because it's getting to be such a hassle to fly now.
Yes.
You have to go through a strip search to get on the plane. And you have to be there 2 hours early.
3.
3.
3.
So when it's too far to drive but too close to fly, intercity passenger rail fits that niche, and you can start the party when you get on. Or if you're going to work, you can prepare. You can get on your computer and be productive while you travel.
Right.
Holy man, you can't do that if you're driving a car.
You can't do that. Now, we also talked about, before we let you guys go, we talked about the benefits of Wi-Fi. These transportation systems having Wi-Fi and people being able to work in between transit. What are some of the other benefits, like along with Wi-Fi, that this system is going to bring to, improve quality of life is important to the Georgia citizens. So what's going to happen with that?
Imagine, if you will, Jamil, being able to get on a train in Atlanta
Okay.
and start going to Washington, D.C., have dinner, have a drink, get on computer, watch a live stream movie if you want to while you get ready to go to bed.
Right.
Stretch out in your bed and watch the nighttime fly by.
Yes.
And get up in the morning, go get your breakfast, get your cup of coffee,
Okay.
and get off in Union Station and go do business in downtown D.C.
Wow.
Now, come on, y'all.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just a different mindset, but a different way to travel, rather than trying to get up and take a red eye.
And the thing about it,
Or worse yet, go the day before and have to pay a hotel bill for spending the night there.
Yes.
and that's not far-fetched. That is happening now in the northeastern corridor between
Yes.
Boston and D.C.
That's
I
right.
mean, the Acela, which was run by Amtrak, you can get from D.C. to Boston almost as quick as you can on a plane.
Yes.
With all the amenities. So if they are enjoying that from Boston to D.C.,
To D.C.
we ought to be able to enjoy that from Boston to Macon.
Yeah.
And so we're paying tax dollars too. We're sending tax dollars there. So we should be behind this effort 100%.
I couldn't agree more. And again, as we pass this torch from
Okay.
our generation down to the next generation of leaders,
Okay.
like Stanley Stewart, who kind of see already the benefits of this and going to take it up, pick up the torch and run with it.
Yes. Yes.
Then you're building a system for tomorrow, and a better system at that. A lot of people just can't imagine to me. They've ridden on, maybe, they've ridden on a train before and they remember it as rocking and rolling and kind of shaking you from side to side, almost like sitting on a Maytag washing machine.
Yes, sir.
And they say, oh my God, you gonna make this thing go faster or what in the world? I don't want it. No. I've been fortunate enough as mayor of Macon to go to France, to our sister city in Macon.
Wow.
And get on the TGV, Très Grande Vitesse, bullet train.
Wow.
And this is my impression of riding on the bullet train.
Easy.
Rock
Yeah.
solid. A glass of water doesn't even slosh on your tray as you're
Wow.
running along 185, 195, 210 miles an hour. Water doesn't even move. It just rock solid. I was fortunate enough to go to Japan because we have a sister city in Japan, Korobe City.
Yes.
I got on the Shinkansen
Wow.
bullet train. Here we go again, 190, 200 miles an hour. Rock solid. Water ain't sloshing in the glass on your tray. They serving dinner.
Yes.
They
Yes.
serving dinner. We can't imagine because we're associating it with mule and wagon technology of the past.
Yes.
Improved conventional rail is a quantum leap forward. High-speed dedicated rail is a quantum leap from that forward. There's the future. That's the vision. If we could get people to go to France and ride, or go to Spain and ride their high speed, or go to China, or go to Japan and ride one time on a high-speed rail, you'd come back with a completely different mindset.
Yeah. And now it's not only Europe. In Ethiopia, you could take a train now from Addis Ababa to Djibouti.
Wow.
The same high-speed trail built by the Chinese. So if the Chinese can build that type of rail system in Ethiopia,
Yes.
connecting a country to the Red Sea, we can sure build one here in Georgia, connecting the Atlantic Ocean and Savannah with downtown Atlanta, and we ought to.
Yeah.
Commissioner Stanley, international.
No, I was going to say, Aisha and I were in Paris 2 years ago, and we caught a train from the Waternoy train station onto the English Channel into London. And both gentlemen are right.
Okay.
When you go overseas and you travel, it's just the way to get around.
Yes.
And
yes.
so we've got to bring that 21st century mindset to our neck of the woods, if you will. to making Georgia USA.
We look forward to seeing this vision come to pass, and man, I see nothing but great things happening behind this vision. I see us moving forward. I see Georgia progressing.
Oh, yeah.
Democrats and Republicans alike coming together, the people coming together, everyone joining in to make a better Georgia.
Yes, sir. That's what it's about.
And let me thank Mayor Rickard for his leadership. He's now the chairman of this, so it's a big weight on his shoulder, and we're going to hold him accountable to make it happen. if it doesn't happen, we're going to say, what happened?
Absolutely, absolutely.
But on a real sense, sense, we really appreciate his leadership, and I know it's going to happen. His enthusiasm just, is absolutely contagious.
Correct.
And we all want to have that same enthusiasm, but enthusiasm without action is not going to get it done. So we got to have action by elected officials, action by the general public,
yes,
to be prod in their elected officials to get on board, if you will, to make this happen.
And thanks to Mayor Ellis for having the vision before anybody else could see it.
Yes.
And getting the money to buy the terminal station and save it.
Yes.
Mayor Ellis is the one that started it.
Yes.
I dug a few, and now I'm ready to turn the shovel over to Stanley.
Yes.
And I would gladly take it.
Let's make it happen.
But let me say this: these two gentlemen. That's why I wanted to bring them today.
Right.
You know?
Okay.
And these two gentlemen bravely served our country in Vietnam. Both of them are Vietnam vets.
And thank you for serving our country.
And so I take my hat off to them for not just that, but what they've done for our community, for making Georgia over these years. So I'm glad to have them here with me today.
And not only that, I went back to Vietnam, was able to take a train from all the way to
Okay, you
Saigon.
took a train.
Man, thank you guys for tuning in. Game Changers Magazine, Game Changers Media Network, Voices of the Village podcast, where change starts with conversations.
Justice and peace and equality. Now the world they will see. That's why.